Looking at the grasslands torn apart under those massive hooves, we knew this was no ordinary threat. Enormous, ruthless boars had crossed deep forests and were now encroaching upon the valley settlements. If we didn't stop them here, terror would continue to spread. The guns were loaded. We quickly took positions along the rocky slope, the only path leading down to the village. We had just one mission: hold this ground. Not a single step was allowed to cross, because the peace of our people is something we will never trade. Join us in this journey. We crept up the hillside, every step measured to avoid snapping a single twig. The muzzles pointed toward a narrow trail, the path these wild boars often used. Near noon, a dark shadow appeared, a full-grown male, easily over 100 kilograms. I held my breath, waited for him to fully reveal himself, then squeezed the trigger. Bang! The bullet hit instantly. The beast collapsed after a single startled step. Another shot followed, just one, perfectly placed. The target dropped right where it stood. No one needed to say a word. We all understood. In hunting, timing and precision matter more than anything else. Peace didn't last long. Our sharp instincts told us. A herd was moving on the far side of the ridge. The lead boar walked first, scanning each step like a cautious scout. Without hesitation, I aimed and fired. The gun cracked, the lead boar fell. Instantly, the rest of the herd panicked, scattering back into the forest, too terrified to ever return to the fields below. Even with danger lurking around, we stood firm. Every inch of this land is our home, and protecting it from destruction is a vow we'll never break. If you think that shot was epic, don't forget to hit that like button. We moved to a new ridge. John carefully set up the camera, locking in the perfect angle. I lay flat on the slope, eyes fixed on the movement ahead. A dark figure slowly emerged. My heartbeat steadied, then I pulled the trigger. The gun roared. The bullet sliced through the air, striking the animal cleanly. It staggered, then dropped motionless on the grass. Once again, our smooth coordination proved the class of seasoned hunters precise, calm, and deadly effective. After hours of ambush, we lay quietly on the hillside, waiting for the dark shapes of boars to climb up after feeding in the valley below. Determined not to let them escape, the team watched every movement with absolute focus. John waited for the right moment, then fired. The first bullet struck the leader. Without pause, he fired again. The boar tumbled down the slope. That shot was the result of thousands of hours of practice, total concentration, and an iron will that never backs down. Before the barrels had even cooled, our teammates below signaled they had spotted another herd resting among the bushes. After a full day of tracking, this was it, the decisive moment. I steadied my stance, ready. The forest itself seemed to hold its breath. Bang! The echo thundered through the hills. The bullet struck the lead boar dead on. The herd scattered in panic. But their leader lay fallen, ensuring none of them dared approach the farmlands again. To reach success, it takes more than courage. It takes preparation, perfect timing, and teamwork among those who share a single mission: to protect. By late afternoon, just as we thought the hunt was over, the valley echoed with the barking of our dogs. Suddenly, a furious boar burst from the hilltop, charging straight toward me like an arrow. Holding my breath, I raised my gun. One decisive shot, and the beast fell instantly, ending the tense chase. Our heavy range rover rolled down the dirt track, loaded with today's results. Inside, we shared a quiet pride, the kind born from sleepless nights, exhaustion, and the risks we take, all to protect the peace of our people. At the boundary where civilization meets the wild, feral hogs are more than just a threat. They are the silent invaders of America's grasslands, hills, and forests. Fields torn apart, farms ravaged, and even lives endangered by their rampage. We can't stand idly by. Once again, we set out to confront this rebellious force of nature. In today's journey, will we maintain the upper hand? Will these monstrous beasts yield? Join us to find the answers. Kicking off today's hunt, we venture into the boundless grasslands, a haven where feral hogs lurk, waiting for their chance to wreak havoc. After meticulously checking our firearms, communication gear, and releasing the hunting dogs, our group swiftly sets off. From a distance, through my binoculars, I spot a feral hog charging across the grassland, kicking up clouds of dry grass with each heavy step. Without hesitation, I set up an ambush, steady my position, and raise my rifle. Aiming straight at its vulnerable spot, I pull the trigger. The bullet slices through the air, striking true. The hog tumbles a few times before collapsing in the field, silence before it could even squeal. Suddenly, a rustling of leaves from nearby bushes signals danger. I instantly raise my rifle, eyes locked on every movement, tense with anticipation. In a split second, a massive shadow bursts out, charging across the grass like a living arrow. I swiftly track the target and fire decisively. The bullet tears through the air, striking the beast's flank. It staggers, loses momentum, and rolls across the ground before lying still, motionless. Leaving the grasslands behind after those thrilling takedowns, we press on, advancing toward the rugged hills where steep cliffs and treacherous terrain await. Here, feral hogs often lurk deep within dense thickets or hidden crevices out of sight. After checking our gear, securing straps, and readying our firearms, the team begins to move, slowly, deliberately, but with unwavering resolve. From a high, rocky outcrop, I scan the sprawling hills below. Suddenly, a dark shape darts through sparse trees, racing down the slope like a bolt of lightning. Without hesitation, I shoulder my rifle, lock the crosshairs on the beast's every move, and squeeze the trigger. The bullet whistles through the air, striking its target dead on. The feral hog stumbles, then tumbles down the hillside, completely subdued. On the opposite hillside, my teammate is locked in a tense confrontation. A frenzied herd of feral hogs is scattering chaotically across the rugged terrain. Unfazed, he raises his rifle, steadies his stance, and locks onto his target. A single shot rings out, sharp and commanding. The lead hog drops instantly, sliding down a rocky slope before coming to a lifeless halt. Suddenly, the barking of dogs echoes from the nearby hillside, signaling another prey's presence. I immediately move closer, cautiously scanning for tracks. Out of nowhere, a monstrous beast charges straight toward me, barreling like a swirling black whirlwind. Without a moment's hesitation, I hold my breath, raise my rifle, and pull the trigger. The deafening crack of the shot shatters the tense air. The bullet strikes the beast's head, and it collapses at my feet, motionless. The day's hunt concludes with precise ambushes and seamless teamwork among the hunters. The entire pursuit strictly adhered to legal regulations and ensured ecological safety in the permitted area.